Hog, I have been hanging on this cliff for 24 hours. Hey, Scott. Hey, Captain. Just left up, so you see only six difference between the objection and the whip counter for now. Not so fast. She doesn't exist yet in neither the production or the actual chronological timeline. I missed the last 30 or 40 minutes or so. What should I know before I get emotional, physical, temporal whiplash? We are killer phoned into court. Yeah, so we've already cross-examined the killer on the radio. He's lying about who his client is. And we're using this chance to accuse an innocent lady who continues to have the worst goddamn day. Okay. Comes you got current and I missed after that. Also made discovery earlier. Oh, what did you make a discovery on? We are good people, Nods. Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming to Switch in March. Yes. Yeah, they announced that. I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? Request the verdict. Request the trial continue. Now, the fun thing is, I don't know if it's here or not. Because a lot of times something like this is a false choice. But I think this is one of those rare cases where one or two of the choices is actually like a bad ending. I think. Although that might not be the case here, I don't know. But while we do want Maya to be fine, even Maya herself told us she did not want us to save her at the cost of getting Matt Ongard found not guilty. So we will request the trial continue. Phoenix. I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept the not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt Ongard is a killer. A murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than Ongard or Edgeworth in most of the first game. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. I mean, kind of. Edgeworth wasn't really that helpful. He was just helpful enough to get away with the fact that he was being very mean to us. Just enough to give him plausible deniability that he was actually helping. He could have gotten Ongard convicted so many times over. But he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust? I never thought about it until now. I trust him? Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right. But, that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. No, it fucking isn't. You're a defense attorney. Oh shit, you're right. That's it. I'd be lying if I said I don't appreciate this, This is just, kicking this reasoning to the curve and going all shonen logic on it. It's not having watched the Phoenix Wright game before. This has been genuinely intriguing and interesting. Though it loses a little luster when they have to question someone literally named the killer. If it helps, while that is his name, it is his name and that it is his title. He is the third Shelly the Killer. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't tons of, people just named ways they are for goofy names. But in the case of the Killer, it is actually as much a title as it is a name. So it's allowed to be a little bit dumber, I'd say. There's still more evidence to look at. And I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. This is also a really good case, though. And while I have my quibbles with it, it's a very important case. Because, you can't have Phoenix always win. You need to have the wrinkle that he can lose. And in this case, because, sometimes he'll get a claim that it's guilty. Kind of like how Old Bag is actually the demon possessing her. Hey, Donnie.
Very well. The trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. the Killer.
Right away, Your Honor. Yeah, this is a sweet way of doing an interactive story. How can you lose in the best way possible is super interesting.
Has a verdict been reached?
Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more.
About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for?
Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done?
But what shall we have him testify about now?
Mr. the Killer, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail.
You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court?
It's a strange night when I don't come in on a horrible out of context bit. Yeah, that is true. That's nice that it got to be changed up a little bit. Of course, I'm still early, too. Well, I'm late compared to the other nights. This is actually, if I was doing a regular stream night, this would only be like a half hour early. No one should ever like to go to court. Yeah, really. About my client, part 2. Okay, now seeing that it's a guy through a transceiver, this makes more sense. Oh, yeah. Because in the first game, you cross-examine a parrot on the witness stand. So this is their way of having a big silly thing in the big triumphant final case. But it's not like the same gimmick. They kind of went sideways. Also, to emotionally perk myself up beforehand, I had some ice cream. Very tasty. It's like a good mint chocolate chip. The problem being, it's very creamy ice cream with milk stuff. So, maybe not the smartest choice to indulge in something like that before a game where you just voice act to it. Second best flavor. Oh. Okay, we can sound off about what our favorite ice cream flavors are. I feel like this is like a cookie. Not applicable more like it. Oh no. Not like the cookies. I have no fighting. Everyone can have their own favorite flavor of ice cream. Remember, if other people don't like it, or it's not in their top 3, that means there's more for you. No bully. Chocolate, Rocky Road, butter pecan. I actually think butter pecan might be my favorite. That's one of those later in life discoveries. Although any kind of like chocolate thing, I can groove on to. Chocolate chip cookie dough, mint chocolate, banana. I am not a fan of banana as a flavor for things, which has always been weird to me because I love bananas. But as a flavor, it doesn't work for me. For some reason, I am. No, man, plenty of people like banana. And chocolate, all kinds except mint chocolate. I do really like chocolate chip cookie dough, too. That might be my second. I don't know why. I really like banana flavoring. I know it's kind of a common weird thing. It's interesting. It might be like what specific kind of chemical it is or something. Cherry Garcia, vanilla, orange sherbet. Have to cheat for that. That is fair. I don't think sherbet is... Like, it is cheating, but I don't think... Okay, if I said what was your favorite ice cream, and someone said orange sherbet, I would not be as mad as if I said, what is your favorite cake, and someone said, oh, it's cherry pie. Used to get those kinds of push pops a lot, damn. Now, if you had said some kind of frozen yogurt... Man, I need to... I'm getting distracted here.
As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Carrera was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules.
Yeah, sherbet is creamy and icy, so it's basically ice cream. I'm also coming off of, because... So over here in Maryland, we finally moved past, because it extends a little bit into October here. Although we've had a warm October. Like I can say it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow. For anyone who cares about Celsius, you're looking at a little bit northward of 25 degrees. It was 82 degrees here today. It was bonkers. It's... Global warming is a hell of a drug. We're talking ice cream. I weirdly love coffee ice cream since I don't drink it at cookie dough as well. Yeah, we've had this talk before. I really love coffee flavor on stuff. And I like coffee too. But I prefer coffee flavor over coffee. I'll start chilling properly around Thanksgiving. Yeah, that does... I mean, it takes a little bit longer. Well, not longer here, but I wouldn't say it gets that chilly. It gets a little bit chillier here than Texas, but... Not that chilly. Not that much chillier.
This is the most unexpected turn of events for the, fifth time now. However, this time, everything has finally been revealed.
Have you had snow yet, Katie? Which I know is a rude... Did I... No, okay, I just went to the wrong thing. 154. And it was kind of a rude thing to ask because it's like I've chosen violence to ask it. But also I'm like, it's almost November. I could see there have been a snow. Yet. Just a second, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
We still have the cross-examination to do.
But you don't need to question testimony like this.
Oh. Neo-Chick leaving us in suspense.
Do you, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor, the defense will question the witness As if I have a choice here. Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies in that oh so beneficial testimony, I suppose? I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes two of us. Poor judge. This case does have many shenanigans. About my client part 2.
As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However...
What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicions on his end. But I have to do something to waste more time. Witness, about requesting a hit.
Yes?
How much is your fee?
I see you are also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney.
Huh?
If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial.
Ah, no. I'm not thinking of hiding.
But Mr. Wright...
Yes?
You want to kill me. You want me dead, don't you?
What? Why would you think something like that, Your Honor?
Guilty. Mr. Felix Wright, you are hereby declared guilty.
Witness, let's continue. Exasperated Phoenix Pose gets a lot of mileage. Phoenix Wright has entered the dark age of law. Yes, but that's besides the point. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not?
One thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime.
Why did I do this to myself? I would think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill.
If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job, dumbass.
Yeah. Well, a change in occupation might be good for you.
However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party.
That goes without saying, Mr. the Killer.
And their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought that he could run away from their guilt. My client did it to frame another for the crime.
You talking about the button and the knife?
Yes, and my business card.
Oh, this card.
So that no one has to waste their time, including the police. I always make it a point to make things as easy as possible.
You try to make things easy?
My business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out the service.
He's pretty devoted to his work.
Disregard everything, to go and to stab the deceased with a knife, and even hide my card from sight. That is something I cannot overlook.
It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. Well, I agree the person who hired you is guilty. You murder people, you Frankenstein-looking stab machine. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Like, I'm not actually entirely sure about the legality of this. But I assume that in an actual court of law, what would happen is that they would have to, I guess, end the trial early and because you can't be charged with the same crime, but the whole thing with Matt on guard here is that the way he got the victim killed was because he hired an assassin. So it's gotta be different charges. But I don't know. I've never actually looked into that legally. It doesn't come up that often.
While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene.
I think it would be conspiracy to commit murder. That's what I'm wondering, because that's what my mind went to, but it feels like this is a little bit more severe, but I guess technically it's still the same thing? So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing?
That is correct. Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves.
You know the other dumb thing about me doing this tonight? Because I really want to. Because I was blaming the ice cream. And I'm sure that wasn't the smartest thing I did. But also, for like 5 hours, I had to... Not 5 hours, probably half the time. Let's say 4 hours. I was also like half yelling to be heard over music playing nearby. So, you know, in hindsight, that makes me think that maybe it's fine. I'll need to talk tomorrow. I can lose my voice. I don't think I'm going to lose my voice. Just, you know.
Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan for your alibi too.
Ah, no. I already told you. I have no intention of using your services. Ever. Why does he keep looking at me like I'm the one on trial here? Like, I feel like the judge should question why he thinks Phoenix might hire an assassin to kill him.
Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Carita was dead.
From the very beginning?
That is correct. From before my client visited the room. All of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times.
Time to just Elcor all the lines. With the gravelly voice of a seasoned killer speaking in dispassionate tones, all of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. But no. I want to say that was from Mass Effect 3? Or was that from Mass Effect 2? Mass Effect 3 was where they actually did all the, like, bits of Blasto, right? No, it is Mass Effect 2. This is the Elcor at a shop. And someone questions him. Or was that in Mass Effect 3? I can't remember. Because a lot of the little touches and bits of dialogue were the best part of Mass Effect 3. But the judge has been established over and over again as a poor judge in all things, but especially character. This is very true, Donnie. God, the Elcor was so good. I never could get into the games, but I like the species they show off. Oh, man. I really enjoyed Mass Effect 1. Loved Mass Effect 2. I have issues with Mass Effect 3, beyond just the ending. But I've come to terms with that. I considered doing the legendary thing, but that's been such a big commitment. I say as if the entire Mass Effect trilogy isn't still probably shorter than one single Xenoblade Chronicles game. I mean, they're probably about roughly adjacent. Only ever played Mass Effect 1, but the Elcor and Citadel made an impression. Mass Effect has a really good universe. But I wonder if that's really true. That's odd.
But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button.
So why do you think your client did that?
What do you mean by why?
Well, fiddling around at the scene of the crime is pretty risky. And why would someone who has requested a murder go to this crime scene anyway?
That is true. I assume it was probably done to frame Mr. Ongard.
If that's the case, then why didn't the person just request that you do it?
Sadly, that is not possible.
Huh?
My job is to kill, that is all, and to leave my business card behind, naturally. The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, setting someone else up to take your fall.
I like creatures that preface all their statements, Elcor, HK47, etc. I've never actually played KOTOR. I've seen it played through, and HK47 is very good. I'm not even necessarily a fan of that character type in BioWare. Well, I mean, I like Black Whirlwind and Jade Empire too. So maybe in BioWare, at least in that era of BioWare, I actually did like their...
That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules.
Jade Empire mentioned 10 out of 10 stream. Oh my god. So I went and replayed that like a couple years ago. Which means, because I had the Steam edition because it was super cheap one day, I had to figure out how to go in and mod it to run. Because the Steam edition is broken for some reason. If it was not for that, I enjoy Jade Empire. It is very messy. The combat engine could definitely have used an overhaul, but it's just a lot of fun. And that's all you have to testify?
Yes, and I pray that I will never be called to the stand again.
Spoilers, he's gonna get called to the stand again. Again? As in you plan to continue?
I must, as I've yet to find a person to take my place and become the fourth successor. Actually, how would you like a new life, Mr. Attorney?
Excuse me? Ah, no. I'm fine, really. I don't think the face stitches would go with my spiky hair.
Are you really now?
I wonder what kind of man the judge thinks I am now. What are you going to do now, Phoenix? All I can do now is expose the lies. That's true. However, you realize that would be very bad for our client, right? I'm so confused. But the one thing I know for sure is I can't let this trial end yet. I don't know, the stitches might work. I think this is kind of for another... Okay, so it's gotta be one of these two, right? And you from the very beginning of Horn Career is that be more appalling secretion planning of the knife and button. Like those people that consume too much true crime stuff, so they think they know how to get away with it. Oh yeah. Knife. Button. Those seem right. What's the card? Very beginning that Juan Carito was dead. We suggest you become an assassin again and show him your attorney badge. Oh, I wish that had a response. Does that make sense? To say that, like, because she did the thing with the wine glass? Yeah, I think so. Okay, wow, I was super unsure about that. Thank you, Kate, because I might have waffled for much longer there. Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. the Killer.
What is the meaning of that attitude?
When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Carita had been murdered.
But how did you know that?
From this wine glass, Your Honor?
The glass?
Mr. the Killer's supposed client thought Mr. Carita had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim.
But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan?
That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind. Right. I remember what this next part is. You may notice they're playing a little bit of a pronoun game here. That's because of, I think, the next testimony.
I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion?
Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon?
Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct?
It's a two-way radio, Edgeworth. He did not see you wag your finger. I'm afraid you are mistaken. Welcome to court, the killer. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Carita's death. Small points are the only thing that matter. Oh, for real. That would be the statement about her hiding the curd when she was spinning it around all the time at the start of the trial. Yo, Donnie, that's also a pretty good point. They weirdly don't actually bring that up at all. I think that's because that's more a gameplay thing, but... If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all.
How strange. Yes? Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation?
Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. I feel like this is one of the cases where Phoenix establishes he's actually not that bad at lying when he really needs to. But it's funny to do it that way. Not gonna lie, that two-way radio is scaled like it's some World War II backpack radio set. It is pretty serious, isn't it? Ah, sorry.
Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you.
Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken.
Very well.
Right now, I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here. Well, part of it is Phoenix Wright knows what's happening for once instead of making it up along the way. This is true. I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. Request taking.
This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a...
Okay, I'm gonna take a drink of tea. Okay.
It was a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters.
Oh, wait a second. How old is Adrian Andrews? 23. Damn, never mind. It would be legal for her to drink. God damn it. Also, Matt Unger, it's also legal to drink. Here in America, which is part of Japanifornia. Japan, I think it's 20? It's like also kind of late, but still not quite America late.
That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes.
Google says 20, yup. Okay. 20, yes. Akane Banashi mentioned it recently. Well, it comes up a fair bit. Mostly, I think it's the fact that you can see, like, people who are, like, just, like, in their first year of college outside of high school, and it still comes up that they're not supposed to drink. And because they will crack down on you if you show that in media over there. Even though I'm sure for most of us, we've all lived through the fact that, like, teenagers are gonna drink, you know? If you're inclined to drink anyways.
That is what occurred.
I already read that. Okay.
So you physically met your client, huh? That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, the cross-examination, please.
Request taking.
This request came to me, about a week ago.
It's also a little bit hard to remember details about Akane Banashi after it has recently traumatized all of us who love it. 1 week ago? Are you sure?
Yes, I am quite sure. I, of course, have my own preparations, and I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you will keep that in mind.
Please. Stop.
In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind.
A specific date and time?
It was a request for my services on the night of the award ceremony.
The killer's doing it on purpose now. Yeah, probably. Phoenix does tend to bring this out on people. Did you ask why on that specific night?
No. I try to fulfill all the conditions of my client's request. But as for why, I only had my suspicions.
Your suspicions, huh? Oh, let's press further. So what are these suspicions you had? Why did your client request that night?
I'm sure it was all for the bear.
The bear? So this was a gay bear.
My client spoke of it. I'm sure there will be a bear-shaped figurine in Juan Corrida's room. I would like you to retrieve that item for me.
You must be talking about this bear puzzle. Inside that figurine was a suicide note. Naturally, the victim brought it with him to his hotel room. He was planning to publicly disclose its contents at the press conference, after all.
That is correct. If I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where that bear figurine was.
I see.
Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance?
It was not important. What the killer said sounds plausible, but in the end, it's just his conjecture. No, Your Honor, I don't think it's very important.
Well, that witness, please continue.
It's one of those weird wake-up calls for me that when I was 16, so many 21-year-olds were willing to furnish alcohol for me and my high school friends. We thought the guy was so cool at the time, but I'd feel creepy if I was buying booze and partying with high schoolers. Yeah. I mean, the times change too, but I don't think our generation is that removed from that. For some people, it depends too. But I think it is one of those things when, like, when you're close in age, Like, if they're only 21 or 22 and they're doing it, that is when that creep factor really goes up. Like, you need to be more than a hairspan away from weird Romeo and Juliet clause kind of shenanigans, or it's going to be a little bit creepy, even if you have innocent intentions.
Well, let's please continue. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters.
So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right?
Of course I did.
What was that? What was with the brief pause? Since Ringy ages 18 here, it feels a little more normal for that to happen. Ugh. Canadians. But no. That's fair, though. I mean, if you're 18, you're still a teenager. That's part of the reason why, too, right? That gap. Even though in all functional ways, you extend out, you're really a teenager until you hit your quarter life crisis. But it's a little bit different. Depends a lot on the person and the life they live, too, obviously. What was with the brief pause? Press further. Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details.
I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I've never taken a request by telephone or mail.
And why is that?
That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye.
Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? It was not important. For me, it was more, if this guy was actually cool, he'd be drinking with other college kids. Yeah, there is that hint of desperation there too, right? Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions.
What do you mean by that?
My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person?
I have already told you, Mr. Wright. I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him.
And this is why this game was playing the pronoun game. Wee woo, wee woo. Also, I feel like the killer should know from doing homework, because when you're an assassin, you should do some investigating beforehand. You probably should have known that, like, Matt Onguard's female manager was named Adrian Andrews, but yeah. Lol, you done goofed, Shelly.
That's what I thought. I can trust this person as a client.
It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? It was very important. If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance.
Huh, really?
If that's the case, a witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Being fair, Matt made this more complicated than anyone involved would ever imagine. Yeah, this is true. Matt and also Adrian Andrews did agree.
Very well. From the moment I saw him, I thought, I can trust this person as a client.
But as we now know, that was not how it turned out, correct?
What do you mean?
Adrian Andrews turned out to be a client who couldn't stick to the rules, right?
Well, yes. I suppose you are correct.
So I would like to check one last time. Are you sure your testimony is accurate? I assume Matt hid that camera to tape Shelly for insurance. Yes, I think you were not here for that. He told us that, actually. Because Matt Ungart has a whole, like... He wants to be proud and independent. So instead of relying on trusting Shelly the Killer to be honorable and not blab about him hiring him for a hit, he wanted to have blackmail material. Which, as this case has continued, we've seen that Shelly the Killer has certain predilections, which means that that might have not been the smartest move for Matt Ungard.
That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes.
So your client was Adrian Andrews?
That is correct.
Well, he says the two of them met. But if they did, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with the killer's testimony. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything strange this time around. You have to draw more information from him, but you can't draw his suspicion. If you can do that, you should be able to find a flaw in his testimony somewhere. Talk about a delicate balance. Now, this is one of those problems with the gameplay. Because we're still, as the player, need to be figuring this out. So Phoenix needs to be the one pointing this out. It really should be Edgeworth for the sake of the deception. But, you know. Okay, I'm gonna assume I just have to present the profile that is Adrian Andrews showing a picture of a goddamn girl and saying it's an intelligent woman.
Objection!
Yeah, I thought so. Oh, whoops. 157. Oh, man. I think, unless Francisca comes in near the end and just goes whip crazy, I think objections are winning. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time?
Yes, that is correct.
And that's when you thought he was trustworthy?
How many times was I to repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. Although it is weird you emphasized he.
I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale.
What?
Shelly the Killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Von Karma bursts in. You will believe a radio can feel pain. I was assuming you meant Francisco with whipping. Could also be Manfred Von Karma. The pain of getting... Although a stun gun would actually might do something to a radio. I don't know how the stun gun that fires with the electrodes exactly need to cause the... They need to hit a person or not. Winston Payne. I can feel this radio, yes. Oh, that's not my Winston voice. Ah, whatever.
Well, why would you say that?
I can never remember how her first name is spelled, so I just called her by her last name. That's fair. She actually has a, God, what is her Japanese name? It's very straightforward, actually. They just made it Francisca because they did that whole German thing with the Von Karma, so they emphasized it. Yeah, it's Ziska. Franziska. I think. Francisca? No, I think it's Franziska.
Well, why would you say that?
Because you made one very big slip-up about her.
So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her?
If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman.
Oh,
Also, yes, the radio reacts. It's May Karma, and yeah, it's just May. Like, it's so straightforward. I think localizing her name to Francisca is more fun. But, you know.
But order read the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this?
This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face-to-face with his clients when taking their request.
But he has never met Adrian Andrews in person.
Yes, Your Honor. That is exactly the point. That means Mr. the Killer's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. Now, I get why they thought it would be funny to have the radio have beads of oil for sweat because it's nervous. But it's just kind of gross seeming. Looks like Manfred's name was Go Karma. Yeah. Which, to be fair, Karma, I believe, is meant to be effectively karma. But yeah, Go, which is... Go is one of those, like, intimidating old man Japanese names. Not always the case, but it does tend to go that way a lot of times. It can also just mean 5, but still.
Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake?
I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor.
Her name?
Yes. Adrian Andrews is, without a doubt, a very androgynous name.
Yes, I see.
Unluckily for Mr. the Killer, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. We very weirdly walked around it in a way we never have before. As for Manfred von Karma is a play on Manfred von Karstein, maybe? I could see it. I didn't actually look into that too much. And so, he simply picked the wrong gender to go with.
What? What is going on? Shelling the Killer. This court demands an explanation.
I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another.
So does that mean you remember something different now?
Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more.
Ugh, I know he's just going to spit out more lies.
Very well, but this time, please give us the truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Man, I did not think there was going to be this much Shelly to kill it back to back. Request taking part 2.
Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Carita and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man.
So you took this job through a letter.
He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he is definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know, I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Okay. So this is going to be another minor quibble I'm going to bring up with this. Edgeworth has not actually been doing too many exchanges with Phoenix right now. Like, I feel like, actually, like, the final bit of the Steel Samurai case in the first game felt like more dynamic interplay back and forth. Even if Phoenix Wright is struggling to play for time, our lengthy chat combos make up for it a little bit.
Now then, let's begin the cross-examination.
Request taking part 2.
Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail.
But didn't you just say that you always meet your clients?
Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom a meeting is simply not possible.
But didn't you meet your client this time?
No, I did not.
Oh, come now. Let's stop with this game of cat and mouse.
Using your silkiest voice is not going to work on me.
Alright then, just cough it up and confess.
Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. the Killer met with his client?
Do we? I don't think we do. Do we? The receipt, spy camera, transmitter, spy camera, the card, picture, knife. I mean, this might not be the thing either. I'm just trying to check it right now, but I don't think it is. I don't have any proof. Good enough for thee, but not for me when it comes to turning the heat up on witnesses, it seems. Yeah. No one ever accused a judge of being consistent. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I don't have any proof right now.
I see. Then your line of questioning was just another waste of time.
Sadly for us, Your Honor, that is the nature of right and wrong. Screw you, Edgeworth.
There have been times when I took a job without having met my client.
And why could you not meet certain clients?
Recently, I've been receiving more requests. If I met each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities.
Nice business opportunities.
On top of which, the times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers, correct? Well, I have joined the times and now take requests via electronic mail.
Electronic mail? Do you have to mail that in a special insulated envelope?
Oh my god, Judge. I am too tired for your bullshit today. My man, focus up.
I'm very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. It's because millennials have canceled murdering.
The digital camera discourse continues.
What I meant by electronic mail is what is commonly referred to as email.
Email? In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot, hands down. Anyway, so you took this job without having met your client and...
The request was for the murder of Juan Carita and 2 or 3 other small things.
2 or 3 other things?
Yes.
And what were these other things?
A few other things that have nothing to do with this case.
What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. Oh, we've got a full health bar, whatever. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide.
Mr. Attorney.
Yes? Okay, I'm a little bit worried that, Stop trying to cancel me, Scott. I'm not a murderer. Some of my best friends are alive. Ooh, I don't like that the music cut out. Yes?
Everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination.
Uh-oh.
Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client?
Uh-oh. The two-way radio is now mad at us. That's...
I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one,
Wait. Uh-oh. This is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck. Alright. I have to think. Is this worth pursuing? Probably? Okay, you know what, game? You've scared me. I will save. Now we know we can back out if need be. Witness. This is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. Game does that sometimes. Yeah.
if it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine.
The bear figurine?
After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing.
And where was that figurine?
It was inside Mr. Kurita's suitcase.
And then what did you do next?
I handed it over to my client right away.
You gave it to your client? Interesting.
This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony.
As you wish. One of these was to find the bear figurine and to give it to Adrian Andrews.
I found this figurine at Mr. Ongard's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing there?
I was waiting for her there. That was also part of the plan to frame Mr. Ongard, I'm sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any problems with this piece of testimony?
Oh man, okay. So Adrian... Do I have any problems with Adrian? Him waiting there to meet with her. I'm usually all about letting my choices be the end-all, be-all in story games, but sometimes you gotta save. Well, with these games too, there's usually just the one right answer. It doesn't actually change that much. This isn't like a Disco Elysium or something. Learned my lesson with that bullshit Shadowlands Tavern event in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, sometimes Baldur's Gate 3 stuff can be right. Celeste. Let's say no objections for now. It's no use. As long as I can't put my finger on the central problem here, pressing this witness anymore would be extremely dangerous.
It appears that Mr. Wright has no problems. Well then, witness, please continue.
When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man.
So you're saying that you never saw your client's face, not even once?
I did, once. It was when I went to give my client the figurine.
Yes, I see.
But Miss Andrews was wearing a mask at the time.
A mask.
The Nickel Samurai mask, I'm guessing.
Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about this? Do you have any problems with this piece of testimony?
Okay. This is the crime photo. I mean, I don't think that... I mean, that shows the map, so... I don't... Oh god, fruity fast. No objections. I think I can pull something out of what he said. It would be real bad if I did something and made him mad over something trivial. There are no problems with the testimony, Your Honor. We've pretty much reached the end of our rope here. Huh? Seems like we're still okay to me. And that's exactly what is so bad. At the rate we're going, we will end up completely destroying the killer's lie. If we do that, you already know how serious of a situation that will put us in. Oh yeah. All I can do now is pray that those items reach us in time. I remember, Tom John request for murder. Let's find the perfect unit and give it to Adrian Andrews. Give it to Adrian Andrews. This was the one that changed, right? Find the Bearfig and give it to her. No. Press conference, no. Radio transceiver, no. Not the Lotta's camera. Not the magazine clipping. Unless... I don't think so, though. Hotel guide map. Katara case. Wine glass. Juan Creed's murder scene crime photo. I don't think this has anything on it. No. It's probably one of the last day's evidence, but Jam Ninja's button. I mean, I guess if she was there, there's also the choice of why could she not take the bear herself, but also, Suicide report. Shock from suicide. Juan's autopsy report. Knife in the Great Water is engraved. Law's photo. Picture card. Spy camera. No. Transmitter? Probably not. Stuffed bear. Credit card receipt. With love, Celeste is written on it. Figurine. One puzzle with a hollow inside. Only Korea and Andrews know how to open it. Outside the figurine, it tells of Onguard's horrible misdeed. Assumes the fact that the note is still in there, maybe. So if he handed the bear, so it's either the bear or... Okay. Yeah, because, like, it does seem like the implication there is the fact that, like, if that was his goal, he'd never succeeded at it, which why not, right? Man, this is probably my tired brain getting a little bit stopped up. But also, I think this part's just a little bit of a reach. I'm struggling with it, too. I think the note's still in there, maybe. Bear the suicide note. I'll say the figurine. Ugh, considering she didn't want anyone to get that note. True. What did she say? She was gonna burn the note? Which I guess technically means she could have just burned the bear itself, so. Shelley to killer. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it.
This item?
I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going.
Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase?
Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. And I was going to burn it, for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it.
Order! 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 So that's where you two were going.
So by the very fact that this suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle.
Which means?
It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client.
Oh, order. Order.
Border. Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before. How I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement.
No, that's not.
That's enough. That is your intention. Then there is only one thing for me to do.
Wait, please.
Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to.
No, please. Not that. Please wait.
Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, and I may stay my hand. Otherwise...
Oh.
What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough?
Well, we should... Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... The prosecution...
What has come over everyone? Even you are.
The prosecution... rests.
What is going on around here?
The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor.
What?
Oh, man. The worst thing Edgeworth has ever done. Yeah, really. Oh boy, okay.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. The prosecution rests with no further questions. Then, the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then, even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. the Killer's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley the Killer's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright. Oh, no. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
If I end the trial here, right now, then your client, Matt Ongard, would be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder.
Miss Andrews would be charged with murder? Edgeworth, excuse me, I was supposed to win for once.
The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt Ongard, to the stand.
The items from the killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. I can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Oh, look, he's playing the good guy again.
Dude, did the old guy finally decide?
To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent.
Huh.
So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out.
Bro, why?
Mr. Ongard?
What an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this. And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap. It's just as atrocious, don't you agree?
What the fuck, Judge? You actually said a right thing for once. Yeah.
Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer?
Yeah, I know. The killer and On Guard have kind of reunited a little bit. Should I side with justice? Or should I save Maya's life? You'd better get On Guard a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that, Maya will die. Justice. But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as the murderer. And, as there would be first-degree murder, and this is Japan, or Japanifornia, this would mean that Miss Andrews would die. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. It all hinges on what I choose.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter.
Alright, let's save.
If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Ongard, is innocent.
There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want. Aren't you?
Right. I can't do this. But I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matt Ongard, is... Alright. So, Captain voted justice, which would be saying guilty. He's too smug to live. So that's another vote for guilty. Or we could be a lawyer to the end and say not guilty. Weirdly enough, in some ways, I feel like Mia would say we should say not guilty because that is our job as a lawyer. But oddly enough, Maya would want us to say guilty because he's a scumbag and we know he's guilty. Well, that's two of them. My client, Matt Ongard, is...
We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt on guard. Your client deserves an answer.
Dramatic pause. Maya, I'm sorry. Matt Ongard is... My God. Franziska von Kerma? Damn. She is perfectly... Okay, I'd like to point out. Whips were at 159. Objections were at 158. She perfectly made sure the whip counter is at least currently still over the objection counter. The counters are the dumbest thing. But occasionally they make some interesting storytelling choices. She's presenting a perfect case.
Ow. We'll say her must. Ow.
Okay, well now she's ruined it though. It was perfect for a second though. 161. You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off of that scruffy fool. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Did you bring them? The final pieces. Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. Everywhere. The evidence is here in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy. He's fine and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this.
What a filthy old coat this is.
That's gumshoes. You can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. Let's just keep insulting Gumshoe, who ran a red light and got his car in an accident, trying to get here in time. But screw Gumshoe. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence.
The final evidence? This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial.
What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence, down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence.
I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so.
Judge, why do you even bother trying to put down your foot? You immediately folded, my dude.
However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please.
These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police.
He must have been in quite a rush.
Yes, Your Honor. The killer left 3 pieces of evidence. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around. Like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Question for more details. More details are not needed. I'm gonna assume that it's not needed, but we can ask anyways. Yeah, why not? Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case. At least with me. That's the pistol that he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Franziska. It's probably not going to help us very much. Pistol added to the court record. A small caliber pistol that is thought to have been fired by the killer at Franziska. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from On Guard Mansion. Question for more details. Have you checked the contents of that tape? How like your father, but also exactly opposite. Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh yeah. But I would speculate that this tape is very important.
Why would you say that?
Because he came back to his hideout for it. Ah, VHS. The killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. I liberated my beard from my face finally. I am a professional man again. Oh man. I've never grown like a beard in my life. But I have done the thing where I've spent like over a week, maybe 2, not shaving and really growing out the scruff. And oh, it's so nice to actually shave that off. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Shelly the killer is no ordinary man. Videotape added to the court record. One of the items retrieved. The killer violently tried to recover it. Contents unknown. The last piece of evidence is this bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? I mean, let's keep questioning for more details. It's not punishing us. Was that used during the crime? I am almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it. The killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. You know, it's also kind of funny to see the characters that basically exist in 3/4 view 80% of the time in frontal view. Yeah, there's some weird things going on with Franziska. But she's not nearly as weird looking as her dad was, front on. My checkup is tomorrow. Once my physical and immunity paperwork gets done, I can do my externship finally. Hey, congrats on that, Donnie. It's been a little bit of a winding road there, but you're getting there. There is one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what is it that? There is a button missing on this uniform. A button? It is very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. Bellboy's uniform added to the court record. Worn by the killer on the night of the murder. One of its special buttons is missing. That's all I have to present, Your Honor.
That's just as I thought.
And what is that, Your Honor?
I'm sure, were we under normal circumstances, these items from Charlie the Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing.
It is. Who is the client?
Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about it. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now.
Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence.
Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict.
Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he?
To be fair, if I worked at a normal pace on my schooling instead of light speed, I would be starting around this time anyways. Yeah, it is kind of funny how a lot of times that stuff will reconverge anyways. Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But, no matter how you think about it, it's, try, for my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of the situation for us. 2? The first. Make Angard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. Huh? The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If Angard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but... The dead rising to counsel you is not a miracle. I know, right? I was kind of thinking of saying something, but then I was like, I'll just keep reading lines, but I was thinking something very similar to that. That's asking me to do the impossible. The second way. Force the killer to end his contract with Angard. If the killer were to no longer think of Angard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia? That's even more impossible. He is a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is, the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? The other side? Wait, does she mean... You mean... to turn things around? Like a turnabout? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. The defense, prosecution, and the judge. We have seen all the pieces of evidence. That is how we have come to know the truth. But there is one person who is yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, it may be what will bring about the miracle in the end.
There are no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict.
Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids?
Oh, the music is wilding out.
I have already told you, Mr. Wright.
And with that, we are now tied at 161 whips to 161 objections.
I've already told you, Mr. Wright. This court does not need any more evidence.
I'm not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Equilibrium.
Then you want to show the evidence to that person?
Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance.
What? One chance? Sorry, Christian Bale.
Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person.
Oh, I didn't even notice it got spelled out Christian Bale. Alright, let's save real fast. Alright, take this for a second. And then... Ooh. Sorry about that. Woo. I fat fingered like a son of a bitch. Oh, that's not so bad. I dropped my controller, but that seems to be okay. Fortunately, a Nintendo product. They do tend to make them tough, regardless of other quality things going on. But yeah, so let's save there. I don't want to take an actual break because I'm too tired, and if I took a substantial break, I had to refresh my drink. So we saved. Or maybe not. I was a couple keys away from N. There's all kind of weird things that happen sometimes. The weirdest typos happen.
Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person.
That's impossible. To turn this situation around in one try.
One try. That is all I will permit.
I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Also, Edgeworth's objection brought us over the threshold. We started off with more objections. The whip surged ahead in the middle because of Francisca. But then, the killer shooting her and bringing Edgeworth in, we have restored the natural balance of things. Unless Francisca starts whipping like crazy. Everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix. Think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking Enguarde down at the same time.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time.
Francisca's gonna come out swinging like it's the Passion of the Christ.
Who would you like to show evidence to?
Okay. I'd like to show evidence to Maya. Okay. So I think the easy thing right here is, we know who has to be right. Because Mia told us that we have to basically break down the client relationship between Matt Enguarde and Shelley the Killer. And who has not been in the courtroom most of this time? Shelley the Killer.
Yes. I see. And now, tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person.
Yes. Okay. Now, this comes to the part I'm not quite as sure on. But also... So, I guess the assumption I would make, right, is that it'd be one of the 3 new pieces of evidence, right? And, like, the uniform he used to do the killing, I mean, Shelly the Killer was wearing it. Not a big deal. Pistol, he just used it to shoot Francisca. It wasn't relevant to the murder at all. Videotape. One of the items retrieved. The killer violently tried to recover it. Contents unknown. So, like, this one piece of evidence we have remaining is such a question mark mystery. It's probably gotta be this, right? So, let's do it.
Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth?
Uh, I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness.
Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier.
Alright, looks like I managed to convince him. Judge,
Videotape?
Maya, she's okay, right?
Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence.
Is it for fixing broken videos? Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back.
That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape.
I thought so.
I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard.
Do you know the contents of this tape?
I was sternly told by my client to not watch it, so I have absolutely no idea.
Actually, you are on this tape.
Me?
There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded.
What?
Is that true, Mr. Wright?
Who was it that planted a camera?
Well, the only person who could have placed the camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally.
But that was Adrian Andrews.
Be quiet and listen, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right?
Yes.
That was so they could film you.
I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why.
Why did Matt Ongard film the crime scene? The reason why he did that is my ticket out of this whole mess. There is only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to see Juan get his, didn't trust your skills, wanted blackmail on you. I'm like 95% sure I remember Ed freaking Ongard telling us that almost directly. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said.
But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay, and even blackmail him if I want.
Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelly the Killer?
Oh.
Oh, he's an angry radio now.
It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning.
Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. How did the machine do that? It has its ways, don't question it. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use the people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness.
Yes.
You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. Hecho en Mexico. You said that you detest traitors most of all.
Yes, that's right.
But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then?
That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then that client would become my next target. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment.
I'm sure that's fine. I see. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around.
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
my contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item.
What the? I'm not an item. Beep. Hey, we finally did it. Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness. Aww.
This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I am I don't quite know what just happened there with the client and the witness and... Wah! Miss Von Karma,
Where did that? Oh my god, Francisca. Why? She's now re-established the equilibrium. What is this push-pull? That rumbling sound isn't my stomach. It's the doom coming for every burger joint in a 50-mile radius. She always has you in her sights. Karma, aka balancing the cosmic sail. Oh man. Pretty funny. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. Oh, he is not looking good at all. Mr. Ongard, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Okay, now Phoenix and Edgeworth are just running train on guard together. Like, they're just being sassy bitches to him and bouncing him back and forth and having a good time. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watch this video.
Help me.
I mean, why not? Oh well. Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please.
is this alright with you, Mr. Wright?
We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there is no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. plead whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. Okay. So, this is not a choice that matters, right? Unguard is not on board. But this is a more flavor thing here. So, if we want to stick to justice and the truth, we would still want to say plead guilty. However, we know that Onguard's ass is grass if he's acquitted. So if we wanted to be a sassy bitch, we could still plead not guilty. And then just watch him continue to sweat. We have been... Justice is not lawful. Oh, interesting. Justice is justice. It's the monkey's paw curling. So, Captain, here you're changing. You're saying that now saying plead not guilty because it's what he would want, but it would also expose him to it, is what true justice would be in this case? Even though it's not the truth in this case, but it would be more justice, though. That's a pretty neat argument. I like that. Justice for all. Sassy bitch ending. Oh man, sassy bitch way of life. That's how I am, at least. Also means if we plead not guilty, we can technically beat Edgeworth again. For a second, at least. But no, I don't think it matters. Honestly, I think even at this point, Edgeworth is kind of like... Edgeworth's like, I've got the truth. Let's just be mean to this guy. And you keep your win streak. Yeah, you know what? You wanted it so bad, Matt Onguard. Here you go. Not guilty. Congratulations, Mr. Matt Onguard. Was this the longest streak you can call an attack Nuke? Please, make sure to savor every moment of what little time you have left. Your Honor, as always, the defense pleads not guilty.
Well, very well. This court finds the defendant, Matt Onguard.
Please wait.
What's the matter?
If I get it not guilty, I'll be killed. I'm no guilty.
As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth.
We? I don't remember you helping out much in this.
Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt Onguard?
I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. Apparently, if you whip someone hard enough, then the crack of the whip will actually cause their wounds to cauterize somehow. Very fascinating. I'm sure he's getting a full-course meal of whip leather right about now.
Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness?
Yes. I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. Whips are the new hotness in new 5e. 5.24e. Is it because of their weapon mastery? What makes whips particularly good? She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. I mean, Phoenix, it might be also one of the, like, 5 different times we falsely accuse her of something. Weapon mastery, slashing damage, range, and it's a monk weapon by default. Wait a second. Because I moved Doman over to new monk, I can now use a whip with him? Out of nowhere? Well, this just adds options. Although I had reach on my unarmed anyway, so. Or perhaps a length of chain. It is true. I've basically been working towards that anyways, but no. Martial melee weapons that have the light property. I had no idea whip was light. I think they might have added that. I don't remember, though. Never messed with whip. Which is weird, because Scott made good use with a whip on bridge for a while there. Usually I'm good at picking up on stuff like that. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone at a detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Aww, okay. I like her smiling face. I mean, it doesn't have that, like, boss energy that's kind of attractive of her base model, but also, now that we know, like, that was actually just her kind of posing and pretending she was in control, it's kind of nice to see, like, a relief for Adrian Andrews. Because she deserves it, too. This case is really rough on her. Like, Jesus Christ. Wow. This is the first time I've seen her smile. Is a nice smile. Wait, sorry, rogue, not monk. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. I get the Dex nerds mixed up. Kind of reminds me of Lana in some ways. It is like Lana, isn't it? Which I guess maybe actually what it is Lana is like Adrian in that sense. God damn it. Okay, well, Doman will not know about whip suddenly. Even though I guess technically the point still stands about the whole thing with the chain. Even though the chain doesn't really do anything for me. But I don't know, I just get attached to certain things. I like the idea that Doman has this weird complex where he thinks that, like, by learning something, he can master overcoming it. I mean, there's certain martial arts philosophies that actually do have parts of that. Just Doman's really dumb about it. I am really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This general design choice for anime smiley faces. I really just like the eyes doing the end. Oh, them just becoming that. I can see that. I think it works here, but I can also, like, as a general rule. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself. With who I am. Thank you so much, everyone.
It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about because I'm the judge. But everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me.
Judge is like, I have no idea what's happening. But everyone's happy, so whatever.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
March 23rd, 5:14 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. It's good for shorthand, but I tend to mug when I draw expressions, and my brain is screaming, faces can't do that. Okay, that does... You've mentioned that before. That makes sense. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. Mia, don't say it in front of Edgeworth. Is the final objection going to be the tiebreaker? It's going to be... Because the thing is, too, if it's what I think it is, too, it's going to be really funny. You got them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all of that to what's really important. Try it. Make your closed eyelids curve downwards. I feel like... When they always say you should try to smile with your eyes, right? Anime just takes that literally. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Miss Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make that you then didn't have to make because we cowered it out.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter.
I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life? My client, Matt Ongard, is. Is he guilty, or is he not guilty? Also, Alucard made that expression once in Castlevania Season 3, and we all know how that turned out. Ah, Castlevania Season 3. I'm astonished that Season 4 turned that around. 3 was really a bummer for me. If I'm remembering them right, which I think I am. Considering you mentioned Alucard there, and we know how his plotline went in that one. Those were your choices then. And your answer. Season 4 was the apology season. It kind of felt like that. But it didn't feel like it really compromised itself to do so. Like, it was a little bit that. But I didn't feel like it was, like, overwhelmingly to do so. Those were your choices then. And your answer. Your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Thank God we're at the ending, because my voice is giving out on me. But I think I can force through to the end. We're close. Right. Edgeworth. I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. There are already 10 deaths at 3 different burger joints. Really? Oh God, Pearl, please don't say too much. Pearls, you're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She is on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Ah, Mystic Maya's safe. You did it. You really did it, Mr. Nick. Ow. She punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Thanks? Oh. What's wrong? Miss Von Karma. Oh, man, I cannot. Hey, Von Karma, you have any whips you want to do in real quick? Didn't help I binged Season 3 when I was having a panic attack over a certification test that could make or break my job at the time. Oh, that wouldn't be good. Then I rewatched in a better headspace, and yeah, last 2 episodes just imploded and sucked. Yeah. Ugh. It was just so mean for the sake of being mean. And, like, it's not like Castlevania was a super nice series throughout, but the way Season 3 ended just... It really harshed the vibe. About earlier, thanks. I've lost the case now. It was the Edgeworth and not you, but, deal with it. Ah. Ow. Why are you still smiling, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Damn, the whip counter. I can't believe... I can't believe counting a whip. Now, I could have pushed the whip counter way up higher. But also artificially it might be like 1 or 2 high just because there were times I shouldn't. Pure evil. Oh, I just can't believe, like, I'm so happy this dumb gimmick has paid off in the end for some reason. You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still happy. I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth? For my own personal victories, and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book. And so my win record remains spotless. PM you the most succinct Season 3 thing I've ever seen later? Alright. I'll probably let you know about that tomorrow. Oh, which speaking of, this happened on the East Coast like 27 minutes ago. Although the rest of you are actually in the past still, I think, pretty much. Well, not the rest of you, but most of you. But happy Halloween. It's the 31st over here. It's almost 12:30. Majority of you, it's 11:30 still over there, but either way. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Oh, man. I only watched that like once. I wouldn't be able to get the jingle to sound right. And then... it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened. Just London Bridge is falling down. Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. It's just London Bridge is falling down. I will not correct that typo. I didn't even notice that typo. It's pretty funny. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. I do think, and we see this a little bit in investigations, but not that much in the first one anyways. There's this weird struggle these games do a little bit, where like, Edgeworth arguably should probably become a lawyer after everything he's gone through, but also the core appeal of Edgeworth as a character is as a potential rival to Phoenix, so making him another defense attorney just doesn't work. And I don't think it's like the biggest push to keep him as a prosecutor. But I think the fact that there are multiple times in character Edgeworth goes into explaining why he's still a prosecutor kind of shows the fact that they do need to justify it. I like him as an antagonist. He keeps Phoenix honest. No, and he's best in that role. And he is still the best prosecutor. Which is not that hard or weird to say. There's just a lot of benefits he specifically has. But there's a reason why he's the benchmark. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so... Oh my god. No matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people... Oh my god. 163. Edgeworth trying to fight back against Von Karma. No matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. Okay, Edgeworth. Manfred von Karma had a 40-year-long career of always getting a guilty verdict. Very clearly, there are plenty of times the truth did not always find a way out. The only thing we can do is to fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have, erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch, but we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you. The truth? Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. Ah, is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why, 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool. Miss Von Karma? I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Francisca threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else. Ah, isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip? She dropped her whip off. I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, Wright. It will keep things interesting for later. But no. Okay. Nick! Oh, look, it's Maya. Oh my god, we're still going here. Okay. Maya! Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! Aww. Just need one more objection for great justice. Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted, like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. Really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. Is it really that easy to do something like that? Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya, just so you know, I was willing to let you die to get the truth, but also I'm glad you're alive. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved you're alright. Hey, it looks like you made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. Heh. And then her stomach growled. Alright. I think it's time we got out of this depressing place. Huh? Where are we going? Food, Nick. Food. Rub. Chow. I'm starved. I'm so hungry, even you look like a nice, juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick. You think I look like a burger? I'm a prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. If you insist? Alright, so how about we hit up our usual burger joint? Don't be silly, Nick. Huh? This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food. Go get pizza for Pearl's sake. Aw, that would be nice. Maybe they'll get everything. So I've decided that we have to make it up by having another feast. Another feast? Come on, Nick. Food. Food. Oh my god, it's still going. Okay. March 23rd, 7:38 p.m. Gatewater Hotel lobby. I would like to point out, last time, I did that, like, extra half hour because I was like, I didn't want this to be too long. Really justified. Oh no, Gumshoe's hurt. Nah, he's okay. Hey, pal. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole of all things. A telephone pole? Then it wasn't a red light that got him? Oh my god, why are you this way, game? You did it again, city boy. I felt like my dear old heart was gonna give out on me, and I ain't joking. Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of The Steel Samurai. Luckily, the only damage is Lisa in Fort Oregon. No, go home. Thanks. Now, looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. Don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nice to him, he might just kick it. Tonight even. I'll keep that in mind. Well, come on now, everyone gather around. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Looks like Lotta bought herself a new camera.
Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's all about eating, so let's go chow down, pal.
Amen to that, pal. Amen.
You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, Detective.
Huh, me? You really think so?
He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending. Lotta's like a decade or two out of place. She is the morality of a TikToker. Or, oh god. Yeah, you're not wrong though.
Ah, well, you know, it's ha 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 ha. Huh? Wait, that's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir.
What? 4?
Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket.
There was a 4th item?
Oh, come on, y'all. It's over. But whoo boy, I tell you, you really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? Ha ha ha. You think?
Why does she look so happy about that?
But being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So to keep my mind off of things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, Kyle. So where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Aw, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway.
Ah. It sure is nice to finally see them both smiling again. My god. What is it, Edgeworth?
This thing is picking something up.
Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Ugh, thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. I can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me.
That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location.
Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do.
Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't even eaten anything yet.
You've eaten way too much, you glutton. I had fun tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me. Wait. What? I just want to say... Thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right? I feel like words alone aren't enough here. I wonder if there's anything I can give him to express how I feel? I mean, we did get Von Karma's whip. His trademark egg-mouthed trick made one final appearance. Thrown away by Franziska Von Karma. It has a certain mysterious nostalgia to it. Here you go, Edgeworth. Take this whip. What's this? Thank you. It's all thanks to you too. You and her. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job.
It looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya.
Yes, Pearly?
I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean.
Pearly, would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, so who's paying for this lovely dinner party? As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick. With what money, Maya? Huh? Ah, yeah. Well, I'm kinda at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kinda already put your name on the bill. Huh? Yeah, I got me in a situation just like that myself. There was this camera shop in this hotel, see? And I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyhow for $3,000. Huh? Well, actually, I reckon you bought it for me, since it's on your tab and all. Nani?
Isn't this great, Mr. Nick?
Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? Is this a nightmare? How dare she? I mean, it does sound like something Lotta would do. Aw, you don't need to hold back now, you hear? Yeah, pal. Time to let it all out.
This is going to be the first time I hear the real you.
Go on. It's been a while since I heard you say it. I've been busy being a hostage and all. All right then, if you say so. And there we go. At the very end.
You really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been living on the edge lately. I mean, I've escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro.
Justice prevails. Let's see how much I can remember what certain voices have.
I'm so happy that you could save Mystic Maya, Mr. Nick. And I'm so happy for the two of you. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners. So I sort of made reservations for the two of you, just in case.
Pearl, you're 8 years old. Why did the hotel let you make reservations? Pearl, Jesus. Well, pal, it looks like I'm back on the force again. Mr. Edgeworth had a long talk with the chief, and he got me reinstated for my sake. I heard he said things like, letting that one go is bad for all of society. I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live, pal. Yeah, Pearl is kind of an aggressive shipper. She's also an 8-year-old girl, so.
I, Maggie Bird, am retiring this uniform as of today, sir. I'm going to be a waitress from now on, and bring smiles and joy to the people who come by the restaurant, sir. I hope you'll stop by sometime, Mr. Wright.
So I'm pretty sure in the 3rd game, we're going to see how her being a waitress pans out. And considering if you remember from investigations, she became a security guard. It does. Fuck.
Yes, I'm here to visit a patient. I'm Director Harding. Recently, yes, that girl, you know, I haven't seen her around, yes, but I remember if I laid so much as an eye on her, it would go crack. It didn't matter if I got whipped, though. Yes.
2 weeks later, the restaurant is burned down. Why? Because the credits go through all the characters. We've got friggin' Oldback coming up, too. It's time to begin our quest of world circus domination, sweetie. And to let the world know we are serious, I plan a fabulous flight to Zimbabwe.
Hey, Max, what do you...
Oh, God.
Hey, Max, what do you... They think the castles are made of bunnies and...
I think if there are any talking bunnies, even they won't laugh at Moe's jokes. No, she was that Hey Max, what do you think that Zimbabwe is like? Do you think it has bouncing castles that and oh god. I'm ready. There's no way these jokes are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm going to be more contemporary with my humor. Mo curls represent.
We've got a new act all worked out. Prepare for the hallelujah chorus. Say something, will ya? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it.
Oh god. I don't have the voice for the credit sequence is always heard. It's...
What's this? Drat, it's just an ordinary electric razor recharging on a stand. Oh, I can't believe this. Really? How long do they plan on making me throw this out? Oh, but it's Edgy Pooh's idea, so I can't hold on. But why do I get the feeling they wouldn't forget about me, would they?
Oh, I was never like Nicole Queen Wendy, and I can't. She's gonna feel the pain of her heel. Yes, I'm gonna spend burning, playing with fire, very dangerous. Whatever, who cares? Fucking old bag. They really think she's more fun than she is. I could not do her voice for the life of me just then. I think it's because my voice is a little bit too short. I appreciate everything you and Mr. Edgeworth did for me from the bottom of my heart. Oh, that's right. I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said that after I got out, I should feel free to consult her about anything. I'm really thankful to have met everyone. Doesn't help that these also just take place a little bit too quickly. Like, they're fine for what they are, but
It has become difficult for me in this country as of late. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you would like to request my services, please be sure to visit my homepage. May we both be blessed with longevity.
oh no, and then the radio died. Is that really all the characters? Yeah, I guess I mean, Winston Payne didn't do anything. Shinji Mikami. Yeah, apparently. That's interesting. March 23rd, 9:42 p.m. International departures at Gate 12. Okay. I'm almost there. Come on, voice. You can do this. Where are you going, Franziska? How did you know I was here? With this? That's... I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example? That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage, but it's going in the trash. I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. 4 things? It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. He put it in here. It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over. What are you going to do now? That's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up. You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Franziska. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill.
I'm expected to win no matter what. And failure, such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius. There's no doubt about that. But me, I'm no genius. I've always known that. Francisca, you became a prosecutor at the age of goddamn 13. Shut the fuck up. But I had to be one. I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor. You have been and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away. Speaking of that, Wright gave me this to hold on to. Right. You knew something like this would happen, didn't you? I'm going to say this again. We prosecutors do not fight for personal honor or pride. I hope you will think deeply about what you should be striking down with that whip. You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth, I've always hated you. And then, finally, my chance to take my revenge on you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can, just like how Adrian Andrews did. Adrian Andrews. You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics. Isn't that right? Today, you chased after me, after I had left you behind all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you are going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways. Franziska von Karma. Yeah. Like, it's a little ugly, but I think that's kind of part of the charm here. Like, her poker face broke. She's sad. I am Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now, so you had better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. Franny, 13. 13! Edgeworth had to finish puberty to practice law. You are a mad genius. Phoenix Wright. One day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again in battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you, I'll take good care of this fourth piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again.
Maya drew a little phoenix over the shell. And there we go. That was justice for all. Oh, man. Something about when you finish these games, on the hour. Oh my god, yeah, it just became Halloween over there. That's pretty funny. Oh, man. Okay, I got through that. I shouldn't have done that. You can probably hear it in my voice, and I can only imagine how the voices from my... not that I'm ever super consistent, but I'm sure they were straying there. So this is the middle in it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Part of me wants to just do Trials and Tribulations, the third game. But also, these games get exhausting. The problem is I was really feeling like my next game was gonna be a longer one, so it wouldn't be a break. So I don't know, I'll figure something out. But for now, I'm glad we did this. It was fun. Except for Turnabout Big Top. That still kind of sucks. And the first... I mean, I like Maggie. I like Maggie Bird. But the first case is a tutorial case. It barely counts. But the second and fourth one... The second one, where we go to Maya's hometown. And we meet her evil aunt. And then obviously this one with Matt on guard. Both very good cases. I completely missed Maggie. She was in the credits. She was that cop girl who said she was going to become a waitress. Gumshoe was sweet on her. And if I'm being honest, I don't really engage in shipping in this franchise. Like, I'll joke about it. And I'm not opposed to it or anything. But I wouldn't say it's one of those things I kind of do. But I do think that, like, Gumshoe and Maggie are kind of cute. They got kind of a age gap going on that's a little uncomfortable. But also not that uncomfortable. I mean, what can I say? My parents were 9.5 years apart. But yeah. There we go. That was almost 3 hours, but got through it. I can't believe the whip counter and objection counter there at the end, though. And objection's just eking it out. I was really hoping that there would be an objection as I presented the whip, which would have been perfect, but it wasn't quite that. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, I'm going to now, like, collapse like a meteor into my bed and just... I suggest the rest of you do the same. Good night.